You said the launch pad. I wasn't.
No,
Oh.
no, go ahead. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget to start
Oh.
the recording.
No, when I heard Channing say launch pad, I thought, I wonder what the conversation is here. Because that's a neat venue. Cool.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
I know.
I also want to say hello to Kendra. It's so wonderful to see your beautiful face,
That is
Kendra.
neat. I have some really good friends that play in a band called Reviva, and it's so much fun to see the artistic talent. I wish I had an ounce of it.
And love them.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. I just love music so much, and I wish I would have learned, but it's a little too late now. So congratulations to you. I think that's really
Late.
exciting.
Thank you.
It's not too late.
Never too late.
True.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and officially call the meeting to order. We have a full crew today, which is awesome. So good to see everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 12:02. And can I get an approval or amendment of the agenda? I'm going to go ahead and amend it and take off Mr. Landgraf. And I'll just brief you about what we met about. And then also, we don't have a need for an executive session, so I move to amend the agenda to remove the executive session. Get approval to the amendments of the agenda?
Carolyn, I just wanted to bring one thing up very quickly. The need for the title application overview and approval can also be tabled, or unless you wanted to amend the agenda. I did submit the unified application, and I'll give you that update. But as far as the complete approval, it doesn't need to be done until the May meeting, and so I indicated that in the application as well.
Okay, so we don't need to have that number 5 on the agenda today? Okay.
No.
So we're going to amend the agenda with Mr. Landgraf for public input, the executive session, and then also action item number 5.
Thank you, Chair
Can I
Carlson.
get a motion to approve that?
I so move, Malinda.
Thank you, Malinda. Can I get a second?
I second Eddie.
Thank you. Eddie? Okay, roll call. Malinda?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Channing? Kendra?
Aye.
Carolyn, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, in public input, Mr. Jones and I met with Mr. Landgraf and George from a security company who are doing work on getting our e-occupancy for the front part of the building. They've been working on putting on a plan to put in, I believe there's 25, fire detectors. And so they are anticipating that work will be done over the summer, and that part of the building will be available for our use as an open space, a multi-space for next school year. So that's real exciting for us to look forward to and also put in to the planning. Mr. Landgraf looks great. He's such a trooper. So it was really good to see him in person here today. So it was a good meeting, and it's exciting for us to be able to look forward to using that space next year. Okay, can I get an approval of the minutes or any amendments or changes?
Move Channing.
Can I get a second?
I'll second, Malinda.
Great. Okay, roll call. Channing? Malinda?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Kendra?
Aye.
Carolyn, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we're up on you already, Ashley. Good to see you.
Good to see you all too. Let me pull up my reports. Okay, so first page is a revenue report. All reimbursements are up to date. I'll be submitting some more this week. I did submit the third quarter lease assistance, so we just have one more quarter left to submit. Other than that, everything is pretty much up to date. And then the expenditure report. So as of March 31st, you'll see that operational was negative 119,000. We did finally receive our 40th day adjustment, so I do have that bar, which will bring the operational into the positive. The increase that we received was a little bit less than what I was anticipating, but we still will be in the positive. The budget will just be kind of tight, and um, I I'm not sure how much we will carry over into next year. It'll be a lot less than what we carried over into this year. And then just kind of going through the universal free lunch program, that fund is negative, but I do have a bar to fix that because we've received additional revenue. So that will be corrected. And then just kind of going through, we're pretty much fully spending down Title I. There's a little bit left in there, but it'll be spent down. IDB will be fully spent down. Title II, we have about 7,000 available. Title IV, I believe we'll have more available in this fund. We do have a salary in there, but the employee that was being paid out of there had resigned, so we'll close that job and have more funds available there. Instructional materials, we have about 1,100 available. The state litter control and beautifications fund, we moved some expenses in there, but we have 11,000 available. The special capital outlay, we're working on spending those projects down, but we currently have about 366,000 available. HB 33, we have 141,000 available. SB 9, the school has 28,000 available in the SB 9 local, and then 25,000 available in the SB 9 state cash match. And going to the next page is the bank account register activity report. So these are all the deposits and withdrawals that were made during the month. Let me know if you have any questions on anything that was paid or deposited. Any questions at all?
Yeah, I have a quick question, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Are we done paying RMA Advisory Group, our lobbyists? Is that the last of the payments to them?
I don't believe so. I think we still have, I know we have an open PO. I think we have a few more
Okay.
invoices to
Mhm.
them.
Yeah, I did ask that same question, Chair Carlson. He told me that that was only the first of at least 3 invoices that we'll receive.
So they bill after the fact? Is that?
That's what I was wondering too. Apparently, the meetings that we're scheduling for the follow-ups will be worth a chunk of money. But yeah, after the fact, they still intend to invoice us.
Okay. We can have a conversation another time about whether or not we want to continue on with our lobbyists or what we want to do for next year. But we can have that conversation before we have, before we have to make that decision.
Okay.
Any other questions?
How about the fencing? Are we done paying for that, or is that sort of all in process?
I'm anticipating receiving additional invoices, at least one additional invoice, because the work is not yet completed.
Okay.
So they are installing our gates, and they've already done so, but the next phase is to install the solar panels so that they have the auto opening, and then we've also asked that they install another piece. So we're just waiting on a couple of additional things, and they should invoice the remaining balance, I would assume.
Okay, let me mute. Okay.
Okay, and then the next page is all the outstanding POs that we have open currently. And then as we get closer to the end of the year, we'll start closing a lot of these. Next page is the bank account reconciliation. So the ending balance per the bank was $432,709 minus the outstanding checks. So the expected GL balance was $389,625.87. And then the next few pages is just the balance sheet. So bank account balance per fund at the top, and then the carryover per fund at the bottom. And then going to the bars. So first bar is 22-I. So this is an increase bar for the universal free lunch program for $8,258.46. And this is just additional revenue the school received for the state funded food service fund. 23-D is a decrease bar for food service also, but this is the federal for $21,363.28. And then the last bar is 24-I. So this is the 40th day adjustment increase for $149,315. And that's everything I have right now. And we are currently working on next year's budget. It is due next month on, let me see, on May 18th. So we are working on that. And so next meeting we will have a draft to be approved.
I have a quick question for you, Ashley. When you talk about the carryover for next year won't be as much as this year, what does that mean as far as actually, what does that mean in reality?
I mean, for this current year, the school did carry over about 300,000. Next year, it won't be nearly that much. It's going to be a lot lower. So, I mean, basically, it's just going to be tight, even more tight going into next year with the budget. We do have to budget in a 1% increase for all staff, and then also switching to an 80-20 split for insurance versus this year is only a 60-40 split. On top of that, we also have to budget in a 10% increase for medical and 4% increase for dental. So I mean, costs are just going up. The unit value did increase by about, I think it was $215 around there. But I haven't received the revenue numbers yet, so I just don't know how much money we have to work with for next year. So it is just going to be a very tight budget.
Okay. Well, maybe Ashley, you and I can have a conversation between now and then to talk about some of, a little bit more specifically. We can find a time.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Any other questions for our business manager? Okay, we can go ahead to move on to the approval of the financial bars. We have 3. We have 25-26-0022-I, which is a flow-through increase of $8,258.46. We have bar number 25-26-0023, which is a flow-through decrease of $21,263.28. And bar number 25-26-0024, which is an increase to the general fund capital outlay for $149,315. Can I get a motion to approve the bars?
So move. Eddie.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Oh, second, this is Kendra.
Kendra, second. Great. Roll call, Eddie,
Aye.
Kendra,
Aye.
Malinda,
Aye.
Channing, Carolyn, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, moving on to you, Director Jones. On the action items, do you want to just combine your report with the action items?
Yeah, can we do that?
Yeah.
And I will do my best to be efficient. I know that everyone's on their lunch break and I'm at a conference today as well, so I will try to get through this quickly. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm just going to go based off the executive director's report. And first of all, I do want to say good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for attending. Obviously, we very much appreciate all of our board members for being in attendance and being committed. So we certainly appreciate that. And hi, Kendra, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Okay, so can you all see what I'm sharing, or is it not appearing for you?
We can see it.
I see
Right.
it.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Thank you for verifying. So I'll begin with facilities, and again, I'll go through each of the areas. Feel free to stop me and ask any questions, or if you have any input to provide, I'd be happy to gather all of it. So beginning with facilities, the fencing project is nearly complete. We are working on a call box so that when guests enter our property, they will have to call to the front office or to a designee who can buzz them in and give them access to our campus. And so we're working on the call box, but we are relocating the current, what's somewhat similar to a call box. It works on a code that's very helpful for staff to enter, but it doesn't help our guests if we do want to secure our campus. So that should be coming in the next month or so. Looking forward to that so that we are completely secure. We're also working on rekeying the Alice gates. And what that means is we have Alice gates that are required by fire marshal code. They're just in and out gates that students and I guess any stakeholder can use if they're entering or leaving our campus. And so we're rekeying those so that we have one master key. And then we are going to work on an additional gate to block off what's the middle school pickup in the courtyard. But short of that, if you drive by our campus, and hopefully you have, you'll see that the fencing project looks really good. And the fencing that they've used for the project actually is a really nice fencing. It isn't as noticeable as one would think. So I encourage you to come by the campus if you haven't done so lately. The next is a shade structure purchase, and I'd like to get approval for the shade structure purchase and installation. So the shade structure will be just adjacent to the current shade cells that we have in our courtyard. This will be additional space for students, and then we'll go ahead and invest through a special capital outlay in picnic or style benches or picnic tables rather. So that'll be next. But the shade structure will be a welcome addition, especially before the end of year barbecue on the 14th of May. So I am going to seek approval for the shade structure. There is all the information inside of your packets. It's $30,000 for the purchase, and we are using special capital outlay. And so, you know, we will have this thing ready before the 14th. And if you came to the beginning of the year celebration or kickoff, you'll know that it was really hot. It was very grueling for everyone. So this will be a welcome addition. Any questions about facilities so far? All right, we'll get into finance and purchasing. This again relates to what I just presented on the shade structure. If you take a look at the quote, and let me pull it up just because we're going through the full approval. Hopefully you can see this, but we have a $23,000 price tag, and that includes the installation of the actual shade sail, and it's or the shade structure rather. And so that's that. And then we also have $1,000 for shade sails to replace what we currently have. Right now we have, I believe, 6 shade sails that are triangular. And so we're going to replace those because most of them are either worn or ripped completely. And so total price tag is just above, actually, it's below $30,000, and it is just above about $25,000, if I'm doing the math correctly. So the approval will be for a $25,000 purchase that includes installation of a brand new shade structure and a replacement of shade sails. So that's on the agenda. Moving back in, I wanted to say that Ashley and I have been working through some issues with the budget. I wanted to let the board know, obviously, we're going to have less carryover in order to sustain the operation of the school and all of the needs that we have. I mean, we are doing our very best, and the truth is we are operating on a skeleton crew. It takes a lot more to run a school, and this is the smallest staff that I've ever seen, that I've ever been responsible for. And we just have certain things that our students need. We need supports for students. Our students are actually asking for additional electives. And right now, given the number of students that we have in a cohort model and the number of staff members that we have, it's nearly impossible, or it is impossible. And so, we are operating on the bare minimum, and our staff does a great job considering, the loads that they have. We have middle school and high school core teachers that are teaching 6 different preps. So they're teaching 6 different classes, as are our CTE teachers. They're teaching all of these preps. And generally, the way it works is if you teach 3 classes, you get 3 preps. So if you have 3 different classes, let's say that be English 6, 7, and 8, you should have 3 prep periods. Our teachers have 1. So we're operating, with the bare minimum, and I'm fielding a lot of input and concerns from students regarding what we can't offer. But I want to let you know that we are doing our very best to sustain. And right now, we're just at that level of sustainability. And so hopefully we can maintain that. But we have some plans. I have some plans for staffing. We may have to do what we need to do when it comes to staffing reductions. And also just looking at, what are our expenses now. We may need to look at contractors and who we're hiring and try to be more efficient in that realm. We need to definitely save money getting into next year. So there's a lot of work to do and a lot of difficult decisions that the board will have to make along with myself. Wanted to let you know that the unified application was submitted today. I want to thank Ashley for her help. I completed the training on the application. It's a new format. It's an OBMS, so it's different from SharePoint and anything that we've done in years past. But it has all the title applications that are embedded in this one application within OBMS, and it has the Idea B application also within. And so we have, Title I, Title II. We don't have Title III, but we do have Title IV. We have Idea B. And so it's a brand new process, but that's been submitted. The deadline was tomorrow. So we should end up obtaining approval on that very soon. And then again, I will present all of the applications, including our proposals, for your approval, and there will be some signatures that are required at the May meeting, during the May meeting. Charter management, I just want the board to consider the addition of a distance learning amendment for the sake of student enrollment. I think we can attract additional students, and this is a conversation I had with Chair Carlson at the beginning when I was hired, is that if we could open up our courses and offer some distance learning, or a complete sort of virtual model with, checkpoints and opportunities for students to come in and take various courses or get tutoring, that could potentially yield additional students. So one thing I would like is for the board to approve this amendment to our charter application to allow us to have distance learning. Right now, we are not allowed to offer students the opportunity to learn online, with the exception of what they do at home after they're with us during the school day. They can do homework, or they can have assignments that are submitted or given to them that are online through Google Classroom, but we cannot offer a lone distance learning program because that needs to be approved by the Public Education Commission and added to our charter application, or our contract rather. So what I would like to seek, and it's an agenda item, is the opportunity to go ahead and give notice to the Public Education Department, which in turn will submit to the Public Education Commission in approval of distance learning for our school, so that we could open up our charter and the wonderful things that our teachers do to students that are outside of the city limits. So that's something that I would like your approval on. And if you have any questions before we move on, I would love to field them.
I don't have any questions. I just think this is a really great addition to our school and will open up a lot of possibilities. So I'm pleased to see this as an approval item.
Thank you, Chair Carlson. Yeah, I think that it would, really open up what we do to to many students. And I actually have a connection with the basketball school. It's a prep school that goes through a separate charter school. I'm not saying that they would commit to moving all of their students over, but I think we have a great opportunity because of what we do and the ability for our school to even film games or help with highlight tapes, things like that. And so they have approximately 40 students that attend a different charter school that offers distance learning and online learning. And so one of my first goals is to meet with, the president of this group. So it's a prep school, and see if we can bring at least a percentage of their students over on a trial basis. And so the approval would really help us just to possibly enroll additional students for next year and form some partnerships that we don't have currently.
Can I ask
Maybe
a quick question?
Sure.
Sorry. Oh,
Sure.
sorry. I'm sorry. I think there's a feedback I'm trying to get on my computer. What is the impact though or have you thought already about the impact on your current teachers in terms of distance learning? I imagine that there will be some additional work that they'll have to make some adjustments. So is that something you're thinking about as you're putting this in the application and talking through with them? Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. And currently, all of our teachers go through Google Classroom, and all of their assignments are posted to Google Classroom. So it's already something that they're doing. In terms of grading students on the assignments that are submitted, that's something that they already do through Google Classroom. Our teachers have, of course, they should have additional prep periods. However, they have very small class loads. And so, when you think about an English language arts teacher and their class load being capped at 180 students, well, our English language arts teachers, for example, have less than 120 students. And so there's still that flexibility. Now, it is a big push, obviously, to take on additional students in any capacity. However, that is something that we wouldn't have to apply for a waiver on because our teachers are well under their class loads that are of course, dictated by statute, but they're already doing it. And fortunately, we have a really positive staff that doesn't work on identifying problems. They're more solutions oriented. And so it's a good group. We understand the need to have additional students. Enrollment is the driver of funding. And the truth is, if we don't get additional students in, there will be no sustainability for the school. And fortunately, they are a good staff that is fully vested in what the school does. So we've had conversation regarding this when it comes to the leadership team and some of the key teachers who have really helped to spearhead things, even in the absence of a principal previously. And so yeah, it's something that they're already doing. Just to answer your question.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the commitment of the teachers. Thankfully, they are committed, and they've gone through a lot, especially the ones that have been around. I imagine it's a different type of model. I'm not a teacher, so you can dismiss all of my comments. I'm just a person, but I'm just concerned. The model is I would imagine the model is different in terms of having kids in your classroom versus having to manage in-person kids and online kids. So and I think they have gone, my understanding from watching from the outside is that there have been a lot of changes in the school, there's been a lot going on, and this just seems like another layer of complexity. And just thinking about the staff and how we think about their well-being as we continue to add complexity to jobs that are already stressful, right?
Yeah, Director Jones, so you said you have kept the staff, the staff is in the loop with those changes, correct? And they're willing to go the extra distance to do this?
Sure, and I think there needs to be additional planning sessions, obviously. And the great thing about an amendment is, an amendment takes between 30 and 60 days. So if we want to do this, it's going to have to be approved. And then, of course, we can decide at that point, are we taking students this year? As far as virtual learning students this year, are we going to wait until next year? But if we don't get it approved soon, we won't have the opportunity to do so. But, Mrs. Rodriguez, I know you're an outsider looking in and you don't understand the complexities of the operation or the budget itself. But, if we don't figure out how to increase our enrollment, the school is in trouble. And that's just I wish I didn't have to say that. I've never been in a situation with a budget, that's in this state, but it is a difficult situation to find ourselves in. And we've, attempted to do what we can, including marketing. I think hopefully we can build some relationships with, community organizations and they can help to push our name out. But, anything, and I think that really is the importance of having a board as well. A board and of course staff and leadership teams is, we have right now also we have a comprehensive needs assessment that's going out to all stakeholders. But the idea is that we all brainstorm, how do we make this work? I personally, this year, in my first year, I have thought through what are the opportunities? What are the things that I've done previously? How do we get more students and seats? Because the unit value drives our budget. And right now, we are not figuring it out. So this is a good opportunity for the school to increase that enrollment potentially. But, at the end of the day, it is entirely up to the board. And of course, the staff in terms of what we're all willing to do.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, I've managed budgets and people. It is my background. And so, but that in knowing that in a business, we have to also I'm just always in these meetings, in any opportunity that I have with you or Carolyn, I'm going to bring up the people because at the end of the day, if any, we don't have a lot of leeway in terms of teachers, right? Any of these people leave, that's going to create that much more stress on the organization. And so such a precarious balance, right? Trying to be innovative in terms of how to bring in the staff and bring in new students and manage the existing situation. But I'll shut up now. I've talked a lot.
I think bringing this charter amendment at this point and also gives us, at least we'll have it on the books as an option, because we need to have all the options on the books that we can possibly find as soon as possible. Because as Mr. Jones said, we don't get more students in these seats, we just won't be here. So if this is an option to get those students in the seats, and as long as we have a collaborative relationship with our staff, I think we can overcome those hurdles. Kendra, did you have a comment? And then we'll go to Anthony.
Sorry, I'm eating my lunch. I had a question actually. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
And is this, thank you. It's good to see you all. Is it allowing students from the Albuquerque as well as students from rural New Mexico? Or is it just rural?
Oh, that's a really good question, Kendra. It's anyone who has the preference or the need to learn online. But of course, we can create our own checkpoints in terms of thresholds. If students aren't passing their courses at certain levels, they're required to come in. So, there's a lot. And one thing we can do currently without driving the teacher, in terms of their caps of their caseloads is what they call them in statute, is their class sizes. We can make sure that we stay at a reasonable number. Right now we have less than 100 students enrolled for next year, which is 20 students less than we received credit for on the 40th day. Now, same thing happened last year where students wait until the last minute to re-register. I totally get that. But in order for us to even have a budget, right, we have to really predict what that number will be. And so, to answer your question, it's open to anyone in the Albuquerque area, outside of the Albuquerque area. And of course, just having this approved doesn't mean that students will actually come. It's just an option, because we did lose about 10 students this year who were illegally going through this process last year. So the school was allowing between 6 and 10 students, and some of them were seniors, to attend fully online last year, which is a violation of our charter contract. And so one of the first things that we did is, I had to break it to the families that they are not permitted to attend exclusively online. But then if we have this approved by the Public Education Commission, we can reopen that opportunity for students, even those that we've lost this year, because again, it was not approved by the Public Education Commission prior.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course, Kendra, thank you.
Anthony, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was going to bring this, when I saw this on the agenda, I was going to bring it up in my section, but it's more relevant if I mention this now. I'm glad to see that this is being addressed, and I agree with Mr. Jones that we need to pass that amendment. Malinda might remember, I mean, when we first started the school, this was entirely the plan. I don't know how it fell through the cracks, but we noted that as the first state authorized charter school, we had the opportunity to reach out to the whole state, not to mention the whole metro area. And I think there's the other telling sign since then is the fact that we have Pecos Cyber Academy, and I've mentioned this before. Who the director, by the way, used to work with us. But they're one of the largest schools. I think they have about 3,000 students now. There is a desire to do cyber learning. But there's an additional benefit. I mean, as Mr. Jones said, we absolutely need that extra enrollment. The only way we're going to do that is by, not only the online, but having transportation. But beyond that, and I think that extra money to address Mrs. Rodriguez's point is that would allow us to have additional staff if we get to a certain point. But there's another benefit that is really important to us, particularly to the media teachers here, is in addition to not having the enrollment that we want, that would be ideal, we feel we're missing students that are really interested in media. And if we have some kind of a hybrid system of online learning where we attract students who want to come to our school, even if it's a shared relationship, as Mr. Jones was saying, with other schools, but who particularly want to take advantage of our media opportunities, those are exactly the kinds of students we want. Those are the premium students that we want, as far as I'm concerned. And so that to me is an additional benefit of doing the online approach. I think a hybrid online approach is good because it can also help students with credit recovery. It can help students that just have problems in their life and they need a break from coming in. We have a lot of students that might potentially want to come from Rio Rancho or the outlying areas. If they only had to come in 2 or 3 days a week, it could make a difference for them signing on. So I just totally support that idea.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Thank you, Mr. Conforti.
Sure.
Any other comments on this topic? Okay, go ahead, Director Jones.
I just want to thank Mr. Conforti. Very well put and very well articulated. I think sometimes I get so narrowly focused on the end point because we've had these conversations internally prior that I forget to mention really all of the benefits. And so Mr. Conforti hit it on the head. And the truth be told, we have these giant online schools that are totally maximizing their enrollment. And I was the principal of one of them. It was Connections Academy. And then I was recruited to Albuquerque Public Schools by the previous CFO and superintendent who heard me speaking to the LESC. And they recruited me because they were losing students to us. And so, just having that as an option in our back pocket is a huge thing. And so it's one of two challenges. Mr. Conforti said that perfectly. Transportation would be the second. But in order for us to have transportation, we need money. We need to pay upfront the first year, all expenses. And in order for us to have money, we definitely need to have additional students. We also need to relieve the burden of our staff, which is a concern of all of ours. We need to have additional students, so we have additional funds, and then we can hire additional teachers to lessen their loads. So, there is a lot of benefit just from having additional enrollment, and I appreciate that, Mr. Conforti. Thank you for explaining many of those items. So that's the distance learning amendment. It would require a 30-day notice. At that point, it's really entirely up to the commission when they put us on the agenda. Typically, it's the following month. So if approved today, potentially we could get on the June agenda for their approval. And if we were to get on the June agenda and we did have the approval, we could potentially begin marketing and hope that we could get a handful, if not more, of some of the distance learning students.
Great. Good plan.
Okay. All right. So thank you all for listening to that and for your potential approval. The next thing is curriculum, instruction, and assessment. I wanted to let everyone know that we have state testing beginning this week. I sent robocalls out. State testing, of course, is only at the middle school level, which makes things very difficult because we have a lot of very intelligent students at the high school level, middle school level we do as well, but really it's a small representation of everything that happens at our school. Math is this week, the 14th through the 16th. It's a state test. It's going to take place during math classes. It's up to, it's untimed. And for some students, this test can take as long as 4 hours. We'll have makeups coming as well. But this is how our school gets our grade every year, basically through the New Mexico Vista system. And this is how they rate our school. It's only on the performance of math and ELA reading and at the middle school level. And that's a big indicator for us. And that's how we get our New Mexico Vista's grade, in addition to a few other factors. ELA reading will be the 21st through the 24th. And we're excited to see, of course, the results because our staff and our students have done a really good job this year. So excited for that, but wanted to let you know that we have testing happening. As far as policy is concerned, I wanted to request the approval of a couple of amendments to our nutrition policy. First, I need to mention that the Student Government Association and I worked through a lot of these policy recommendations, and all of these policy recommendations, as a matter of fact. Attending those meetings as of late, I've been invited, so I've attended, and they have very good input. I've also explained to them the complexities of everything that happens at our level, because they do advocate for self and they do advocate for the school. And so that's been very important to explain why things have happened and why we are making these changes. I've done my best to explain it to staff, and they're very well aware of why we're doing the things we do. And that's why they've championed, for the most part, everything that we've done this year. But now the communication needs to increase, because I don't think parents and all stakeholders understand the position that we found ourselves in at the beginning of the year and how much progress we've made as a board, as a school, as a staff. And so we really need to make sure that we communicate exactly where we're going and the purpose behind everything. But with this, student government has been very big and huge advocates of the school and of course, transparency and all things associated. So with policy, the nutrition policy updates that I would like to seek approval for will be permitting caffeine with the exception of energy drinks. That's the first. So right now, caffeine is not permitted on campus. We have done a really good job, I think, with enforcing the policy. And there's been some pockets of inconsistency, obviously, when it comes to specific staff or specific days. But we want to allow caffeine, which is not something that the state doesn't allow. It's a choice that we made as a staff at the beginning of the year. The staff made the recommendation with my being new. I said, sure, let's give it a shot. And what we found is that our students and their conduct, for the most part, they do a really good job. And we don't see a need to no longer ban caffeine from schools. So I would like to make it so it is not prohibited and that they can have caffeine with the exception of energy drinks. That doesn't mean that the school can provide it. It means that the students can bring it in a lunch or otherwise. And the second is sugar contents. Right now, sugary foods are not allowed on campus, and up to 30 grams is something that the state allows. And so, students bringing, let's say, a soft drink for lunch that doesn't have caffeine or sugar has been a challenge for them. And I think it's something that's a small concession because their conduct, their effort has been great this year, and they've adjusted really well. And so we aren't necessarily rewarding them with caffeine and sugar, but what I am saying and what our administrative and leadership team is saying is that we aren't seeing a real correlation between bad behavior or poor academic performance and their absence of caffeine or sugar. So, that's something that the Student Government Association has also sided with, and that's a recommendation I'd like to make when it comes to the revision of the nutrition policy, that the board can approve if they choose to do so. But it doesn't need to be reapproved by the Public Education Department, who approved the initial plan. The next will be the dress code. And what we'd like to do is we would like to, and I'm going to have to show you this one. We'd like to amend the dress code so that there's more clarity. And our Student Government Association, on behalf of the entire student body, has made these recommendations as well. Right now, it's a bit of a challenge because the dress code as adopted didn't really allow for that much clarity. And so here are the things that would change. And I have them highlighted, and I'll just read those specifically. I'll read each section. Attire or accessories which advertise, display, or promote any drug, alcohol, tobacco, sexual activity, violence, disrespect, racialized aggression, or, and these are recommendations made by our student body, include gore, blood, foul language, weapons, or, and then obviously the rest is bigotry toward any group, are not acceptable. Unacceptable clothing includes sagging, bagging pants, midriff length tops, and what they wanted is clarity, tops that reveal bare stomach and or back, short skirts shorter than knee length, bare skin or underwear showing around the waistline. And then this recommendation was the final piece. Sheer, see-through style tops or bottoms are prohibited. Now, all of this comes as a consequence of us having these dress code kind of enforcement issues, because students do come in things that are a distraction to the learning environment. And that's just the reality. Very short skirts, sheer style tops where you can see, the underwear of a student underneath their top. And so these are items that have been added so that we have that clarity, because ultimately our goal is teaching and learning, and we do not want to share students. We do not want to send students home for dress code violations or even have any disciplinary action taken against students. They've asked for clarity, and I believe this policy and the revision would allow for that clarity that we all need to not only enforce policy, but to get to what's important, and that's, again, teaching and learning. So I'd ask for the board's approval for both policy revisions and for the approval of both policy revisions. Any questions regarding those two items related to policy?
Just a quick one. So all of
Sure.
these revisions have been vetted with our student government folks and also the staff, and everybody's on board?
Yeah, and we've had and to answer your question, yes, and we've had a lot of back and forth. And the staff, we meet twice a week for an hour, so we fortunately, we've had all these conversations throughout the year, and our staff, again, they've really championed all these things. They understand the challenges, they understand the complexities, and so everyone's on board just to have more clarity, including the caffeine. Even for teachers, we're trying to set the example so we don't have coffee on campus, right? And when we do, we're hiding. And so everyone's on board for these changes, and I hope that they help us to really improve the conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course, thank you. Okay, I'll just move on. Other will be staff planning meetings. I wanted to let everyone know that we're having whole staff meetings regarding planning, and that relates to what's the culture of our school currently, what do we want our culture to be, all the way through, students are asking for electives. How do we make this work, right? What are teachers willing to do? So to Mrs. Rodriguez's point, that's the exact question that I was asking, because our CTE teachers want to create more pathways. They want to have kind of the model where students can basically focus later on as upperclassmen on things that are more complex, so the complexities of the courses offered, of the tasks involved. And so we have all of these requests coming from students and their concerns that we respect. And so now, we're working together as a staff to figure out what's everyone willing to do. Right? Because if we're going to offer additional electives or create pathways, you're going to have to completely rewrite your courses, and you're going to have to develop brand new courses, which means you're going to have to rewrite your entire curriculum, all of your assessments, your syllabi. And so, again, the staff is really open to doing whatever it takes, because we're all on board to do whatever it takes. It's a matter of where do we get the time, logistically speaking, how quickly can we get this done? And so we've had some really good conversation, and sometimes, it gets to be a little heated, which is good. I think it's healthy for an organization to where people have those disagreements. I love our staff. We walk out of these meetings after people have their disagreements, and everyone is still on the same page and doing what's best for students. And so I've really appreciated that. And so we are having those meetings, and I've had a lot of good positive input from staff to say, thank you, because we've never had this before since I've been here, as far as some of the staff members were concerned. But just to let the board know, there's a whole lot of transparency. There's a lot of communication. There's a lot of explanations as to why we're doing all of these things. The staff, as I tell them, they're very much like coordinators of a school district. They are not teachers, right? And I know that's a big burden to put on them, but the majority, 98%, really respect that, and they want to be a part of the solution. And so we're having those conversations, and we're hopeful that pretty soon we'll have everything ironed out and ready to implement, and looking forward to next year. So we're right in the middle of that. SGA meeting attendance, I've been going at least once a week to the SGA meetings, and I get a lot of good input, but I'm also explaining to them higher level things because, our students are sharp and they want to know. They want to know more. It isn't your students, we're admin, these are teachers, let's all stay in our lane and do our job. No, they want to know why we're doing everything. And I love that because transparency is important. I've just never had it before. So SGA meetings have been great. Upcoming important dates, please take a look at that file. You can see everything that you need to see when it comes to April and May. Teacher evaluation activities are almost complete for the entire year. So our staff, really the only thing left is end of year PDP. We have some domain 1 and 4 items, but we are completely caught up when it comes to teacher evaluation. So that's something that the PED has asked us to do, and that's necessary, and we've done. The education plan has been submitted with the exception of one template. The education plan is a requirement annually. It goes to the public education department for review, and everything has been completed in that area with the exception of
Did we lose you? Yeah, looks like we might have lost him.
He froze.
Huh?
He froze.
He froze. Yeah. Looks like he froze. He'll log back on.
Emma, can you hear me?
Now we can. You're back.
Okay, perfect. I'm turning off my camera because I'm not a good sight to see anyway. Teacher evaluation activities have all but been complete. We only have a couple more activities left. Education plan is an annual plan that to be submitted to the PED and approved by their team. That's already been submitted with the exception of our academic goals for next year. The New Mexico Dash Plan is the 90-day school improvement plan that goes on 30-day cycles. That's been submitted and is still in the approval process. And then we had the unified application that was due tomorrow. That has also been submitted. The principal's blog is something that I would encourage everyone to take a look at. I'm hoping to have consistent entries that tell our story. And so it's a form of communication, real-time, first-person communication, and that's been added to the website. So take a look at that, subscribe to it. But we're going to give just first-hand accounts of everything that happens there and all the exciting things, as well as some of the things that aren't as exciting, but that people need to know. So our stakeholders can benefit from that real-time communication. And other than that, I believe that's it for me. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
I have a question on the graduation. Is
Sure.
is Megan, Miss Reyes, in charge of that again this year?
She is, yeah. So we have reserved the Lobo Theater. It is on May 15th at 10:30 a.m. and SGA and Mrs. Reyes have spearheaded that entire thing. So we have the agenda, the program that's been created. I do have Chair Carlson, you and Dr. Tafoya, I believe, was going to speak as well, based on our previous meetings. Both have been added to that program. So.
Okay, and Miss Reyes knows that Dr. Tafoya is doing the speech, so she can be in touch with him on all the arrangements for that, correct?
Yes, yeah, that is correct. And I will let her know. I added it to the program, but I will personally go and speak to her and let her know that she needs to talk to Dr. Tafoya directly.
Okay, great, so that he knows what his role is. And and all that, and that he can't come dressed up all crazy. No, I'm just kidding. You can come however you want. We're thrilled to have you.
I have the speech pretty much done if anybody wants to review it.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of asking that, because in the last years, Miss Reyes would want us to send our speech ahead of time so they would know how to time things. And then they also do a dress rehearsal. So I just want to make sure you're in the loop for all of that.
It's 17 minutes, 24 seconds.
Oh boy, that's
Oh, cool. I love that. Awesome. Okay, and I guess that's it. I do appreciate you all listening. Obviously, it's always a lot of information. I said I'd be quick. It's a little quicker than last time, but I would love to have your approvals on the agenda items if possible. But if you have additional questions at the time of the approvals, please feel free to ask.
Okay, there's no other questions on the executive director's report. We'll go ahead and move on to the action items. So can I get an approval for action item number 1, which is the approval of the nutrition policy revisions? Can I get a approval?
Move. Channing.
Channing, great. Channing, can I get a second?
I'll second Malinda.
Great, roll call. Channing? Malinda?
Aye.
Kendra?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Carolyn, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Action item number 2, approval of the dress code policy revisions. Can I get a motion?
So move, Eddie.
I'll move to,
Thank you.
and I'll
Kendra?
second Kendra.
Second, Kendra. Roll call. Eddie?
Aye.
Kendra?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Channing? Aye. Carolyn, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Action item number 3, approval of a shade structure. Can I get a motion to approve?
I so move, Malinda.
Great. Second?
Second, Channing.
Great. Roll call. Malinda?
Aye.
Channing? Eddie?
Aye.
Kendra?
Aye.
Carolyn, aye. Motion passes unanimously. You guys are on top of these motions. Action item number 4, the approval of the distance learning charter amendment. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve it, Kendra.
Thank you, Kendra. Second?
Malinda, aye.
Malinda.
Melinda, aye. Roll call. Kendra?
Aye.
Melinda?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Channing? Carolyn, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Great. Thank you all. I think these are all good changes. Let's go ahead and move on to, is there the media? Anthony with the media report. Are you there, Anthony?
I need to sign off. It's great to see you all. I'll see you on soon. Thank you.
Great
Thank
to
you,
see
Kendra. Good to see
care.
you.
Kendra.
Okay, I'm not sure where Mr. Conforti is, so let's go ahead and bounce forward and let's have our student representative. How are you doing today?
Carolyn.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did we already approve the distance learning? Or are we approving that?
Yeah, that was the
What
last
action item was that was the last one?
That
Okay.
was number 4. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we're not
Just
doing
making
that.
sure.
I'm here,
Okay.
guys. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
great. Thank you.
Okay, Anthony, you want to jump on real quick?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I just had my class come in, but they're good. I got them. So timing is actually perfect. And I just want to mention a couple things real quick. To follow on the distance learning thing, just to remind, and like I said, I had planned on talking about this. When we first started the school, that was a big interest. And in fact, Glenna and I, and I think a couple other people actually went to Florida and visited Florida virtual schools, which was like, kind of the pioneer and all of that. And the idea is to to figure out a way, and they've already done that. Florida Virtual Schools had already done that, how to incorporate rich media, to use our media skills to actually enhance online learning programs. And so there's some really good ones. Now, we had a lot of pushback from teachers early on. I think COVID has changed that somewhat. I know a lot of teachers now, in fact, Jim Carlson, Malinda, you might remember Jim Carlson.
Yes.
They basically now prefer, they teaching from home, teaching a few classes a day from home. And so all of that can be handled. Also, it was always thought that media couldn't be taught with online, but it can be. I've seen some programs that are really cool looking. Most of your film universities, your big schools like UCLA, USC, they have online film classes. So it can be done. And what was guiding us back then was this idea that there may be a math teacher in Jal or New Mexico that is really good at what they do. Why should they just be confined to doing what they're doing, for one classroom? And so by the same token, there might be a student in, Cimarron or someplace like that, a little town that can't afford a media class, but really wants to take media. Now we can do it. We have the technology to do that, and that can enhance our enrollment. So, anyways, I think we can talk about that more as it unfolds. But I think it's here to stay. It's not going to go away. And as Mr. Jones said, it is our competition more than anything right now, is the online schools. Okay, moving on. Since the last meeting, I attended the C&M Film Advisory Board. Again, that was at the rail yards, and it was really good to see. They wanted to update us on their progress. We actually had to wear hard hats because they're, and the welding sparks were still hitting us on the head as we walk through it. But they've got 3 big studios that they're converting into major professional grade production studios. Well, I really like the idea of wishful thinking. If we can ever remodel a little bit, our little area is the studios are all equipped with wood floors, which are, a necessity for professional studios, because Tig, you'll appreciate this, it helps the acoustics considerably. And so anyways, they're saying that they're going to be ready to start classes there because they have to move out of their current facility by August. I really doubt it. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, like I say, I think I wrote Carolyn a message about this, and Glenna, I don't really want to put this on the minutes, but I think ultimately there could be some changing in structure going on in terms of who's involved in that, and that could provide an opportunity for us to in some way be affiliated with that. Also, guys, I want to thank Tig for helping out a couple weeks ago. He shot this event at the Acequia Madre, which is the right at Central and Sunset Boulevard. It's a pet project of the Bernalillo County Commission. Barbara Baca invited us to attend that. She's the county commission chairwoman, a neighbor of mine. And Deb Holland was there. All our legislators were there. And Chairwoman Baca and Julia Radosevich are going to be coming by our school next week. I've been wanting Barbara to see our school. She's never seen our school. The county has a lot of influence in this particular area. They're actually in charge of the Highland Theater, where NDI is based out of. NDI leases it. And they will have a lot of say, particularly in the redevelopment of the south and the west and the south sides of the Expo, New Mexico. And so I wanted Barbara to see it, but also what she wants to talk about. They're planning on doing an education center, a big deal, right at Central and the Bridge there. And they're starting that this summer, and they're maybe wanting some of our students to do paid internships or paid work-based learning, service learning projects there this summer. So we're going to be talking about that with them this coming week. If anybody wants to attend, I'll let you know the date if you can be here. And of course, Julie Radosevich is also the aide to our Senator Cedillo Lopez. And it'll be nice for her to see the fence and all that we've been doing. So that's that. And I think that's about all I really wanted to say. And if anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Conforti. Do we have any questions or comments for Mr. Conforti?
Well, pardon me.
Oh, I do, just real quick. I'm sorry. I'm not too sure, Mr. Conforti, if Alejandra Mays had gotten a hold of you from
Oh,
NAPA.
right. Yeah, I think I emailed her back.
Okay, great. I wasn't too sure.
And I mentioned to her that we're coming towards the end of the year and that we might want to address that all next, beginning of the next school year. What was she wanting? She was in an internship for what?
She wanted students to help promote the NAPR, which is the Native American Professional Parent Resources.
Right, right.
They moved right up the road from us.
Right.
But they wanted help with videos. Even over the summer, if the kids can do something over the summer, I'm sure we can get them in contact with any students interested.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit hard to see. I mean, because they won't have access to equipment and all of that. And here's the other thing about the internships. I mean, we've talked a lot about whether it should be a requirement and whether we can get them. Well, we're getting them. We have a lot of opportunities, but this is where the enrollment comes in. Right now, we have we don't have enough students to do them. I mean, I just wish that I could clone Tig about 100 times. And then we would have plenty to do, and we would be able to accommodate them. But that's the problem. First of all, there's always the transportation issue, and most of our kids don't drive or don't, and so it's difficult for them to get to. But that's something we have to work out. I mean, we can certainly do a robust internship program, but we need to increase enrollment. I mean, right now, I mean, it's, but we can, that's a great project, and Channing, and we can certainly do something. I will get back to her before the end of the school year and see what we might be able to do. And, but like I said, I don't know if we can, comprehensively do anything until the next school year. Kids are pretty much checked out right now.
All right, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Did someone else have a question for Mr. Conforti?
I do, Carolyn, Malinda.
Go ahead.
I wanted Anthony or you to refresh my memory. What happened during COVID? Weren't some teachers certified to teach distance learning then?
Well, you didn't have to be certified. Basically we all just did it. And again, that's reinforces the idea that we can do it. It's something that most of us wanted to do, and it's not something that most of us wanted to do full time. And like I say, I don't necessarily, but it proves that we can do it. And guys, we have the technology now that that wasn't available when we started the school, and it was being done then. Like I said, I talked to Kim Height, who was our special ed director for a while, and she's now the administrator of Pecos Cyber Academy, and they have 3,000 students. They have a building, because the law says you have to have a building, and all they do is store computers in it. That's what a lot of kids want. To get to your point, Malinda, one of the results of COVID was a lot of students don't want to come to school.
Yeah.
But I think the ideal for those kinds of students, I think they should come to school. I don't think a purely online program is good for kids. But I think for some students, a hybrid system where they take a few classes online and then they come in a few days a week to have human contact, to have socialization with other kids, and to do the hands-on kind of things is really the ideal scenario for a lot of students.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I just want to backtrack and take this opportunity to welcome Johnny Rodriguez and Bren McCabe-Kelly. I didn't do that at the beginning of the meeting, but I do want to do that now. It's always good to see you here at our meetings. We really appreciate the parental involvement. So thank you. Okay, you're up. You're up, Tig.
Well, as you already heard from Mr. Jones, he's met with student government. I think this has been 2 or 3 weeks in a row now. I missed the first meeting because I was sick that week, but yeah, it's been really great having him attend the meetings. I know that a lot of the students have enjoyed it, and being able to just have a chance to talk to him and share thoughts, hear what his thoughts are. So that's just been great. Um, I've also just myself been working on scanning in school yearbooks for a school archive, and I am missing 4 years, which I'll put in the chat. So if anyone has yearbooks and would be willing to let me borrow them to scan them.
Were you able to get a hold of Mr. Dooley?
I was. He does not have any of the yearbooks.
Oh, okay. Wonder where they all went.
I wonder if Pat Kelly would have them, perhaps.
Okay, we'll check with him.
And I will definitely check my office as well. They could be on a bookshelf, so I will look.
Okay.
I've also today started working with Miss Rose, who is our food service person for the school, to work on a electronic survey that we can send to students to gather feedback on what lunches and breakfasts they enjoy for the next school year. So I know for the past few days she's had a physical piece of paper that students have filled out. But
Well, I want to thank you for all the work you've done on the archives and all the work that you do for the school. Tig, you're really an amazing young man, and we are really very lucky to have you on board to organize the student government and also just do all these really great side projects. So I do want to thank you for that.
thank you.
We might have a few more projects for you too, so you better just clone yourself, okay?
Yeah, he's been great.
Whenever I come up with a glitch, I always ask Mr. Conforti, is this something that the Ty can help me with? Because you're a really great asset to the school, so thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments or questions for our student representative? You got a comment in the chat, so.
Yeah, I want to say thank you as well, Tig. I mean, you help so much. You are an asset for sure. Even adult processes, we're trying to figure out our menu, right? And so Rose had the students ticking off, what do you love and what don't you love, so that we can start to develop a menu that the students will, they'll prefer. And Tig took that upon himself. He said, I'll get you some good data. Let me help to refine this process a little bit. So he's pivotal. He's been huge. So thank you for your work. We appreciate you.
The student input that you brought to the table is really great because it allows the board to move forward on some of these approvals, knowing that it's been vetted by the students, which is who we're here for. So it's an important role you have, and we do, again, thank you and all the other students involved. We have, we have some amazing students that are participating behind the scenes. So. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to just new and old business. I have a few, well, on the Well, let's talk first about the food stuff. So is it correct, Director Jones, we might be looking for another food person or
That
service?
was our that was our original intention. However, based on pricing, the other providers are substantially higher in cost, and because of our budget, we're most likely sticking with the same provider, but trying to revamp that menu, and that's where the input from students is coming. So we're hopeful that we'll have a better year when it comes to food service with the same provider.
And this provider will take this input and try to
Yes,
fix it.
I like that song.
Sure where it came from, but it was good.
It provided some pep. I need some of that. Yeah, and they are. So we're in that process right now. Right now is the time that we do it. We'll also submit soon, and Courtney helps with this, the National School Lunch Program application. But a part of that is the menu development. So thank you, Tig, again. And we're hopeful that we'll have better options for students next year.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see, what else do I have on here? I think since we last met, Mr. Jones and I were in front of the PEC one more time to go over some of our audit. And also, I believe Ms. Wiffle was there with us. The meeting went smooth. They didn't put us on any sort of plan or anything. And we're really appreciative of the hard work that has been done by Director Jones, Ms. Wiffle, and the rest of the team here on bringing the school back into compliance. So, I just wanted to report on that. The foundation board is coming along, and we have our application in with the IRS, and we should hear back from them really anytime. So that's exciting. We have our state nonprofit status. It's that time of the year again that we have to do our head administrator evaluation. And Dr. Linda Paul has retired. And so I went out looking for a different way to do this. And I met with our foundation director, our foundation president, Glenna, and we worked out we worked out an evaluation that we're going to use this year. And we will be putting that together and getting that out. And I guess that was one of my questions was, Ty, do you know how to do SurveyMonkey?
I have not used it, but I'll look into it.
Okay, that'd be great. We need to do SurveyMonkey on this. We're going to do it in-house this time. We're not bringing in an outside provider. So there'll be no cost for it this year. And if we can figure out the SurveyMonkey, glitch, we'll be able to get that out. The PED changed their evaluation a little bit from last year. So I'm not sure if you're aware of that, Mr. Jones. They have that new Excel program. So I'm trying to, oh, good. Ms. Rodriguez knows about survey, so she can help too. Good, I'll tap both of you as we develop this, as we move forward. Let's see. I think that's all I have for today. Everything else was covered under all the other reports. Is there any other questions or comments or items that the board is interested in bringing forward? Nope.
I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you all for your hard work. And it's just really amazing how far we've come these past 3 years and really just getting everything back to somewhat normal, and I am hopeful that this next coming year, it will just get bigger and better. And hopefully all of our worries can just kind of go out the window. But we wouldn't be able to do this without our student representatives, without our director Jones, and even our parents. So it's, it really touches my heart to be able to be in front of you all and see things looking up and especially Carolyn, thank you for all your hard work that you're doing too, because it can be very overwhelming. And I see a very positive light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you all.
Thank you, Channing. Thank you all for being here during this process. When I reflect back on where we were a year ago, this is really a great place to be, and we're putting things in place that should help increase our enrollment, right? The campus is looking much better. Students seem to be happy, so let's keep moving forward. Any comments from our parents?
I just want to ask for positive energy for the supercomputing team that is going up to Los Alamos this weekend for the final presentation of their project, which is on water, I think. But we can have them put a summary together or we'll send you something. But yeah, they're going to go present in Los Alamos this weekend with Dr. Mueller.
Awesome. Are you going as well?
I am.
And you guys will be posting pictures like as it happens so that we can follow along with you?
I'll find out if we can do that.
Instagram or something. I know I'm a big fan of all the social media.
I know they're doing a good job, and Sophia is one of the internships, is doing that internship with another student. So some of that content is actually she's created. I'm very proud of that.
Really great. Yeah, it really puts the school in. They're just great. I just love them. So I look forward to seeing those. Okay. Any other items of business that we need to tackle? No, we're all good. We're all ready to. Okay. Well, with no further business, I am going to call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for being here and
Thank you.
seeing you at graduation in next month.
See you at graduation.
Okay.
Thank you all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.